Caritas Nigeria, the charity arm of the Catholic Church in Nigeria, has celebrated her 2024 Caritas Nigeria Day. This year's celebration provided an opportunity for Caritas Nigeria to showcase her significant contributions to humanity since its establishment in September 2010. The theme for the celebration is Giving Back to the Community. CTV News was there.
Caritas Nigeria, in the past 14 years of her existence, has provided humanitarian support to over 15 million vulnerable households in the Nigerian society. The 2024 Caritas Day began with a Holy Mass officiated by the Catholic Bishop of Wukari Diocese, Most Reverend Mark Megida Nzukwen. In his homily, Bishop Nzukwen commended the activities of Caritas Nigeria in touching lives of the downtrodden and the vulnerable people in the society.
Before now, the works of charity, which we consider as the spiritual works of mercy, have been restricted to mere individual efforts or through the minimal intervention of St. Vincent de Paul Society. But with the coming on board of Caritas Nigeria, these charitable initiatives have been enlarged and the outreach more elaborate, covering the vital areas of healthcare, delivery service to the poor, the orphans, and the vulnerable children. It sustains humanitarian intervention in favor of the internally displaced persons, especially in the northeastern part of Nigeria, and the refugees from Cameroon is worth commendation. Also, the extension of its laudable initiative, which covers the areas of agriculture, nutritional needs of malnourished children, and the education of the vulnerable or the out-of-school children, is quite inspiring and should be sustained. As we celebrate the milestone achievement of Caritas Nigeria today, an agency that has existed for only 14 years, I would like to invite us, particularly the members of Caritas Nigeria, to reflect on the lessons of today's liturgical readings so that we can improve upon the vision and the mission of Caritas Nigeria towards engineering a service delivery system that is quality-driven, transparent, inclusive, and also impactful.
Before the end of Mass, the staff and management of Caritas Nigeria danced to the altar in thanksgiving to God. After the Mass, the beautifully decorated CSN Resort Center played host to guests from all walks of life who came to celebrate with Caritas at 14. Welcoming the guests at the event, the Deputy Executive Secretary of Caritas Nigeria, Reverend Father Peter Babangida, in his remarks highlighted the hardship in Nigeria occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government.
Today, families have lost their loved ones. Families have lost their means of livelihood. Children have dropped out from school, not because parents don't want their children to go to school, but because they cannot afford to pay the school fees. We live in a world today, many people have parked their cars before everybody wants to drive a car. But with the event of 29th of May 2023, Nigeria has not remained the same because subsidy is gone. Those who have the luxury of having the naira it has lost its value. Families, there's so much of stories of divorce, annulment cases. In fact, I'm sure Father Banjo will agree with me that they put together the total cases of annulment the past 5 years outweigh the whole of the past decades, because people are suffering.
Current Pope has been emphasizing is the fact that as we engage in this charity, it is good to understand that there are two dimensions. First is the institutional dimension, and that is what Caritas does all over the world. When Caritas Nigeria, Caritas Germany, Caritas US, wherever, goes out to meet the needs of those who truly are in need. That is institutional. But our current Pope has been emphasizing this other dimension, and that is the personal dimension. It is one thing that you go out as a staff of Caritas to do what Caritas has asked you to do. It is another thing that you are deeply involved in that act of charity. So charity is not charity until that personal dimension is present. Charity is not charity until your heart is involved. And sometimes, when you are at the receiving end, you can see the difference.
Speaking during the celebration of Caritas Day, the Executive Secretary, Reverend Father Uche Chukwu Obodechina, who is attending his last Caritas Day as the ES, called on the staff to be compassionate in all they do. He also presented a CCA strategic plan of action for Caritas Nigeria.
He's asking for 1 million, give 2 naira in half. If you say to is small, I are giving what you give, what you can. That will be for me an attitude that shows that we are grateful to God for the gift others have given us, for which we can give to others. Finally, we have a CCA program of activity. I would pray His Excellency, the Bishop, to help me present this document.
So I would like to thank him also for inviting me to be part of this great day. I feel so happy and elated, and I'm also humbled. You imagine the Bishop coming to tell the story. I think it requires a lot of humility for you to come and tell your story to Caritas Nigeria, for all those who are going to implement it and give them the compassionate heart they need to actually implement the content of this document.
The event presented an opportunity for the first 14 pioneer staff of Caritas to be recognized. High point of the event was the cutting of the 14th anniversary cake amidst cheers.
And eggs! Caritas Nigeria!
In Abuja, Tony Abba, CTV News.